With the pledge loan hack, a lot of people have it a little bit confused. And I'm
Okay.
going to tell you the two different ways and why. Let's say you go and you apply and you use your own money, guys. Okay. They use it and they deposit it in Navy Federal. Navy Federal turns around and gives them a loan based on their money. Their money is
Mm,
secure. Okay. This is where the secret comes. There's two
okay.
ways to do it. Some people like for it to hit their credit before they.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Calvin Russell here. Again, we are back with another guest speaker. All right, so now you guys have seen this young lady before. She's been on here before. She was dropping a lot of gems, and you guys told me you wanted me to bring her back. Well, listen, we were able to carve out some time on her schedule and bring her back. And listen, today is going to be Navy Federal Day. So we're going to talk about all the updates and changes that are going on and maybe some stuff that you all don't know about Navy Federal. But of course, you're not going to get this from me. You're going to get it directly from the source. All right. So without any further ado, want to go ahead and bring on Jackie. Jackie, can you hear us okay?
I sure can, and thank you and welcome for having me
Absolutely.
again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We most definitely had to do it for sure. All right. So here's the thing. We most definitely want to go right into it because if there was some things that you talked about with Navy Federal, and I want to make sure we get some clarification. So I figured, okay, we got to have you back to talk about these things. Okay. So first things first, a lot of people most definitely have been talking about the pledge loan for a very long time. Okay. And a lot of people still they don't quite understand how things work and things of that sort. But either way, you did a video recently where you was talking about $100,000 Navy Federal Credit Union pledge loan hat, top secret stuff. Tell us
Yep.
about that.
So the pledge loan, this is a great secret and a great hack. One, there's a lot of people out there that basically are paying to build their credit.
Mhm.
There's no need for that. With the
Mm,
Navy Federal Pledge Loan Hack, imagine you can create on your credit $100,000 trade line. So an
mm,
installment loan up to $100,000. And you can have 5 years showing on your credit, which this is amazing. Imagine if you show that you're responsible for $100,000 to pay it back, you're going to start getting comparable credit from other credit unions, other banks, and
right.
sky's the limit. With the pledge loan hack, a lot of people have it a little bit confused. And I'm
Okay.
going to tell you the two different ways and why.
Okay.
So let's say you go and you apply and you use your own money, guys. Okay. So
Okay.
some people have, you will be surprised, but some people do have $100,000 that they
Mhm.
leverage either from another card or their business, and they use it because they want to create that trade line. And
Right.
what they do is they use it and they deposit it in Navy Federal. Navy Federal turns around and gives them a loan based on their money. Their money is
Mm.
secure. Okay. This is where the secret comes.
What's going on, guys? Today I want to share something with you that's really special, especially for small business owners. It's about Fair Figure and their Capital Card, today's sponsor. This isn't your typical credit card. The Fair Figure Capital Card is designed specifically to help small and medium sized businesses build or strengthen their credit, even if they have limited or poor credit history. Unlike traditional credit cards, this one is based on your business deposit history, not your credit score. So even if you struggled in the past getting approved for credit cards, don't worry. Fair Figure's got you covered. And here's the best part. Your activity is reported to major business credit bureaus such as CreditSafe and Equifax. That means responsible use, like on-time payments and low utilization, can actually build your credit over time. The more your credit improves, the more funding you have access to. So as your business grows, you're not stuck. So you can scale right along with it. If you're ready to build your business credit and get access to the funding and capital that you need, scan this QR code right here or click the link in the description below. Now back to the video.
There's two
Okay.
ways to do it. Some people like for it to hit their credit before they pay 90% down. And
Mm,
some people are in the middle of funding. So what they do is they wait 3 to 7 days and
okay.
then they pay that 90% down. So imagine you just created $100,000 trade line that's reporting in your credit and you just got
Mm,
your money back basically because you're
right.
paying 90% down. So when other banks or institutions see that on your credit, see that you have a 60-month installment loan, which is considered a long-term installment loan, but they see that you've already paid 90% back, what does that do to your credit? That's going to bring it
Put
up.
you right up.
It brings it
Right.
right up. Plus, you're creating the relationship with Navy Federal. So you're creating that internal score as well with Navy Federal. And remember, Navy Federal has great products. They even have that mortgage that is like zero. You can give, it's a zero
Yeah.
down payment. So, I mean, the sky's the limit. If you definitely love rocking with Navy Federal, I would definitely tell you to do the installment loan, because
Yeah.
that's going to put you in a completely different level, guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I do want to ask you about this as well. I think we talked about this a little bit
Yeah.
in another video, but to your knowledge, because some people say, okay, I got an inquiry, I didn't get an inquiry.
Yes.
Is this going to be an inquiry or not?
If you're applying for the pledge loan hack, there's a lot of people that say they haven't gotten it, but I
Yeah.
do know people that say they have gotten it. So
Yeah.
I can't tell you 100%. I
Yeah.
would probably think, you know what, if you're going to get a hard inquiry, but you're going to create this trade line and you're not paying anybody, this is secure, go for the inquiry. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Absolutely.
remember,
Build your credit.
build your credit. Exactly. That's the way to build your credit. Why would you pay somebody to create a trade line, $500 to $2,500, that
Right.
maybe can be an authorized user for you only for 6 months,
Mm,
when you can build your own credit? You don't have to pay anybody. I
absolutely.
personally, I'm not into the deleting the inquiries.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I'm going to get funded by the bank, I mean, after 6 months, they don't count that much. So
Yeah.
why not? Why not?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it makes so much sense because you're building a relationship with Navy Federal that
Yep.
increases your internal score with them as well. And it also leads to other products. And then obviously you're building your credit and you're using, and again, it's your own money. So it's not like there's a cost. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
A hundred
It's
percent. You're building
yeah.
your internal score, because remember, Navy Federal has their internal score
Yep.
from 100 to 450. You always
Mm,
want to try to stay above 250.
yeah.
And unfortunately, the only way you know this is whenever you apply for a credit product. And
Yeah.
either you're approved or denied, and it comes on the paper,
Yeah.
that you receive through the mail. But that's the only way you know where you're at.
Real quick, be sure to download our free ebook today. All you got to do is scan this QR code right here or click the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, this is why we brought Jackie in the building, guys. This is why we brought her in the building. Okay. And again, Jackie talks about all this stuff and a lot more on her YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go ahead and stop by her channel today. All right. But we're not done with Navy Federal yet. We're not done yet. All right. You talked about something else, and I don't think a lot of people understand how to do this process. And I also need to know, is this for personal or for business? The question I'm about to ask now is, you mentioned there was like a $80,000 Navy Federal credit card, or credit secret rather.
Right.
What's that all about? And then can a person do that for personal only, or is it business only?
So Navy Federal, people would think that if they're going to give you $80,000, it would be on the business side, but
Yeah,
it is on the personal side, guys.
really.
So Navy Federal has the ability to give you one card and have a credit line of $80,000, which is the
Mm,
flagship card. And
mm,
that's definitely amazing. That's a game changer to have
yeah,
one credit card on the personal side, because you can see this a lot on the business side, but
yeah.
on the personal side, and it can go up to $80,000. I
Wow.
mean, you can have the one card, or you can have multiple cards,
Yeah,
and they add up to $80,000, because Navy Federal does have that threshold on the personal side that it's either one card or in combination, but you cannot get more than $80,000. And that's
wow.
amazing. I mean, that's definitely a game changer with Navy Federal. And that
Yeah,
you can, after, liquidate that card as well, you know,
yeah,
with their gold card, the prepaid card. You
yeah,
can basically $600 a day up to
yeah.
$10,000 every, I think it's every 30 days or something like that. So imagine, and you get nothing, no pre-penalties.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Navy Federal, the flagship card, they say travel card. In my opinion, it's really not a travel card. But if
Okay.
you can get this card, I mean, it has no foreign transaction fees. It has so much perks. And just to be able to get that kind of line of credit with them is amazing. I mean, I would
Yeah.
definitely try to rock with Navy Federal if you're not in there already, if you're not part of Navy Federal.
And you know what you said, Jackie, was so key because a lot of people, first off, most banks are not just giving people access to those types of funds, let alone it be for, like for personal use or just a personal credit in general. You would typically think, like you mentioned, it would need to be on the business side of things because obviously there's revenue that plays a role and things of that sort. But listen, I think that that's a great opportunity, especially if someone, and just so everyone is clear, we're not just talking about getting the money just to get the money. Okay. You got to have a plan. You got to have a strategy. You got to have something that you want to do or refinance or pay off or obviously, have a strategy for that. So it's got to make sense. And even if you don't get it all at once, you can most definitely get it with multiple, accounts as well too. Now, what are some things that you would say, Jackie, that people need to have in place to increase their chances of getting approved for that?
Yes. So one of the things I'm going to tell you, Navy Federal likes to see that you're stable. You have
Mm,
to make sure to have the employment at least 2 years. That is a plus.
yeah.
As soon as you join with Navy Federal, you get your checking account and all that. Make sure that you get the oops. The oops is if you ever overdraft,
Yeah.
you don't overdraft because you have the oops. Also with Navy Federal, you want to try to build products. So they also have like a certificate that you can put as low as $50.
Yeah.
And not only you build brownie points with Navy Federal, but you're also saving money and building interest on that as well. So you want to try to invest in Navy Federal. That's really important. Also, if you can, instead of having the regular checking account, get the flagship checking account.
Yeah.
Yes, you do have to have, I think it's a minimum of $1,500 a month. But if
Mm,
you don't, they're going to charge you $10 a month.
okay.
That those are ways that Navy Federal sees that you're invested in them. Also, direct deposit, guys. That's, when you're trying to get a higher line of credit or you're trying to season a bank, you want to put all your little ducks in that bank while
Hmm.
you're trying to season them. And I'm not telling you once you get the money, just leave Navy Federal because they're amazing. But you want to try for Navy Federal to see that you're definitely, invested in them. And that goes for any bank or any credit union. They
Yeah.
want to see that you're fundable and you're invested in them. Um,
Mm,
Also, this is a question somebody asked me. Even if you
yeah.
have oops, but you are overdrafting all the time, they see that. They can see that. And you're
Right.
not, you're not going to look fundable to them. So that's
No.
really important, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, if you only have one credit card, a 500 or $1,000, don't apply for the flagship card right away.
Mm,
Depending where your credit is, you might have to start with the secure card and
yeah.
then build your way up. And that's a mistake that a lot of people do. Like you just said, we don't know why we want the credit. We
Yeah.
just apply here and apply there. One,
Hmm.
we get denied. Two,
Hmm.
we don't have a strategy plan why we need that kind of money, and that's
Yeah.
how we get ourselves in trouble. So,
Yeah.
like I said, always, you have to study the credit. Credit,
Yeah.
you have to study it. It's a game. And you
Yeah.
have to understand the institution. You got to study the credit union. You got to study the bank and see why you need that. And that's how you're going to get it. But Navy Federal is always there to help the consumer. And if you put all your ducks in Navy Federal, they
Yeah.
will help you out, even if you don't have tier one credit. Now,
Mm,
because I say this all the time, then people send me a message. Oh, I applied for Navy Federal. I got the flagship. I got this, but I got denied. Oh, yeah, but I had 3 late payments last month.
yeah.
You got to use your common sense too. But with Navy Federal, if you just do that, like if you go into Navy Federal, if you're not
Yeah.
in a hurry, forget about the 3 months. Wait
Yeah.
6 months.
Mm,
Analyze your credit because you know where your credit is at. So
yeah.
depending where your credit is at, that's what card you're going to apply for.
Yeah.
Build it up. It used to be that in Navy Federal, every 3 months you can get a credit line increase. Now it's every 6 months.
Mm,
And the most that you're going to get is $8,000. So
yeah.
I would always tell you, ask for 10, let them counter offer you back to 8. So
Mm,
it's just knowing, when to apply. When is it your time? I cannot tell you when it's your time to apply. It all depends on
yeah.
your credit. but
Yeah.
Navy Federal definitely is an institution that you want to rock with. It's amazing. And like I said, if you just do everything by the book with them,
By the
you're
book.
going to get approved. Now,
Yeah.
if your account gets flagged for some reason because they see something shady,
Yeah.
it's going to be very difficult for you and you might get kicked out as well. So just make sure that
Absolutely.
keep
And
everything going.
yeah, absolutely. And you touched on something as well too. You talked about a lot of people have been talking about, the oops, obviously, service that, and it's not just with Navy Federal. This is for, a lot of banks in general. But I'm so glad you talked about that because people they think it doesn't matter. They think it doesn't matter if they're late, every now and then. They think it doesn't matter if they have a couple of overdrafts. But like you said, it's a bank. They pay attention to that. So they don't want to because banks they know that there's a risk no matter how they spend this. There's always going to be a risk, and they want to try to reduce that risk. And so when you do things like that, that's obviously going to be one of the reasons why you would get denied. And trust me, I want people, everyone watching this, I want you guys to understand something. Banks do not want to deny you.
That's right.
Okay, they want to approve you. They are. If there's anybody in the money business, it's the bank.
That's
Okay, so they trust me, they want you to have that profile. They want to give you what you're looking for, but they also want to make sure that they get their money back because people start acting funny once you get them money, and then it's like, hey, can I get it back? So excuse them for asking a few questions and things of that sort and making sure that things actually make sense. All right. So now, another thing that I know a lot of people going into buying cars. Interest rates are coming down as we speak, and a lot of people are looking for the best way to get an auto loan. And I tell people all the time, I worked at a dealership for over 6 years. I sold over 500 cars in less than 4 years. So I know the car game like the back of my hand. Saying that to say that one thing that a lot of the dealership did not like to see, it was when people actually came to the dealership and they had their own financing and it was from their bank or their credit union. I don't think enough people are taking advantage of the Navy Federal auto loan. And let's talk about that because you did a video on that as well too, and a secret that a lot of people don't know about the Navy Federal auto loan. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. And the first thing I want to talk about, because I had somebody comment, we're not putting car dealers or salesmen down or anything
Not
like
at
that.
all.
But when you walk into a dealer and you brought your check, that is a
Mhm.
game changer. Because
Huge.
it's on your court.
Mhm.
Negotiation is on your court. You're there and
Yep.
you're telling them, this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for, and this is my
Yep.
budget. I don't need you to get me approved. I got my check in hand. So that is
Mhm.
definitely a game changer.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people talk about they run your credit. Yes, they do run your credit. It
They
shows
got
up,
to.
but it counts like one. I think it's within 14 days you
Yeah.
can run your credit. If you're looking for a car or something like that. But if you're like somebody that likes to see that credit picture perfect, the
Yeah.
best way to do it is don't let them run your credit. Come in with your check.
Mm.
Also with Navy Federal, and a lot of people don't know this, guys.
Mm.
Navy Federal, when you're talking about luxury cars,
Yeah.
they overestimate sometimes cars. What do I
Mm.
mean by that? What
Yep.
I mean is if you found a car, let's say a Corvette, Maserati, maybe the car is worth $50,000, but
Yeah.
Navy Federal just did, run some comps, and to them, that car is worth $70,000.
Mm.
Guys, what do you think is going to happen? They're not going to
Yep.
give you $50,000. They're going to give you a $70,000 check or an $80,000 check.
Yeah.
You still got
Mm.
to pay it back, but
Yep.
that's definitely a game changer. Imagine having an extra $20,000 that
Yep.
you can use to fund another bank account.
Mm.
Maybe you have credit cards that are 20%, but your car loan is 6.99.
Yeah.
Got $20,000. You paid off those credit cards, and now you just added a little bit more to your loan. So this is
Mm.
definitely a game changer. People don't know about this. Also, Navy Federal, if you need money and you have a car that
Yeah.
you already paid off or your boat, guys, and you need money and you have the collateral, take it to Navy Federal. They give you 110%.
Mm.
what that car is worth for that collateral, which is another game changer.
Huge.
Also,
Huge.
this that I talked about, this is on the personal side. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's go.
Yeah, on the personal side with the cars. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't leverage Navy Federal to get a car because they don't
Mm,
know. But this is
yeah.
why you want to be invested in Navy Federal. This is why you want to do the pledge loan hack.
Hmm.
This is why you want their credit cards. This is why you want the flagship, checking account. This is why you want Oops. This is why you want the CDs, or you want, any other product that they offer,
Yeah.
because they have
Yeah.
so many things. Just it's a game changer. Just what I just told you about the car. Imagine that. Think about it. You're tight right now. You need to buy a car. Your credit cards are, high utilization.
Hmm.
You just got this check that you can actually pay off your car, pay off any other debt, and have one payment. That
Wow.
only happens with Navy Federal, guys. That's
Yeah.
where the number one credit union in the nation. And, they've been burned, but they're still there. They
Hmm.
like Calvin said, if they don't lend money, they don't make money. So they're
That's
there
right.
to make money. But
Yeah.
you have to look fundable. Also, a lot of people, they want to buy a car. They've never had an installment loan. They're looking for a Corvette. That's not the way it works, guys. You
Mm,
got to go from tier to tier and tier. Okay.
yeah.
Start off with a car, maybe $20,000, $30,000, depending what your credit is. And if you show that in the past you've had installment loans or car loans, and then you can hold that car for 6 months, then
Yeah.
you go and you change it. Now the car, instead of being 30, 40, maybe 60, 70.
Yeah.
Next time you hold that car for 6 months, 9 more months, you return the car, and now you're in $100,000.
Hmm.
Now you're driving a Bentley. If
Mm.
that's
There
what
you
you
go.
want, if that's what you want, that's the way you got to do it. Again,
Yeah.
credit is a game. You can't just go in there and say, okay, I want $100,000 when you've never even had a $5,000 installment loan. It's not going to
Say it
work.
again.
It's not going to work, guys. So
Yeah.
you gotta, there's a ladder, okay?
Yeah.
Ladder, and you gotta go up the ladder.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
understand how the ladder works, and you have to go up there. Will you get up there? You definitely will. If you play your cards correctly, you
That's
will
right.
be driving that Maserati if that's what you want, or the Bentley, or whatever is it, you
Yeah.
want. But you have to know how it works. But yeah, a lot of people underestimate Navy Federal. They only talk about the credit cards, the flagship card. They have so much products out there that you definitely gotta join, and just see what's out there with you with Navy Federal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love how you compared it to the ladder, right? There is a ladder. It's not just a ladder of starting at a certain product and then working your way up to another product. It's really also a ladder of trust, right? Because the more you do with them, the more payments you make on time, the more accounts you have, the more that they can actually trust you. And that's the whole point of all of this. Yes, they want to give you money, but they also have to trust that they also have to trust you. They want to make sure that they're going to get their money back. And so those are the people that deserve to have the great interest rates, the great perks, and things of that sort, especially with an auto loan. And let me tell you something. I'm glad you talked about that comment too. Listen, I come from the car business, but I was a different car salesman. My my thing was I wanted to help people, and as long first off, anytime a salesperson sells a car, they're going to get paid something. Okay. So let me let you know that. No matter how much you negotiate, there's always, even if the dealership loses money, they're going to pay the salesperson something
They have
because they still know. So yeah, absolutely. So and and I'm saying that to say that we shouldn't be thinking about if somebody's going to get paid. We're looking out for ourselves. And I would tell people, I said, listen, you're sitting on the other side of the table, but I'm looking out for you. I'm not a financial advisor, but I don't want to sell you a car and then you come back a year later, 2 years later, and you don't even have a car no more. Like, I don't see you getting oil change. You ain't got the car no more. So my point is that it's not nothing against dealerships, but sometimes, like any other industry, they hire not the best people. And so what I mean by that is sometimes you'll have a finance manager, all he's known for shotgunning applications. That doesn't help the consumer. When they walk in and they say, oh, well, somebody told me don't go to a credit union or don't go to a bank before I go to the dealership. All right, they're going to shotgun that application if you do. So just know that going into the situation, again, and it's not you versus the dealership.
No,
Trust me, like I said about the bank, the dealership wants to sell you a car. In most cases, they don't really care who you finance with. They would rather sell 10 people a car that finance with their credit union than people that say, hey, I have no credit union. And then they end up and they can't even buy a car anyway. So again, at the end of the day, most places want to help you. I at least want to throw in my 2 cents.
no, you're 100% correct. But
Yeah.
like we all know, when you go in there with that check, there's a different kind of leverage because
Yeah.
let's say you're going to buy a car and you're thinking, okay, I cannot pay more than $500.
Mm,
When you
mm,
go in with the check, you know exactly what that payment is going to
yeah.
be. Sometimes
Hmm.
you go to the dealership and you tell them, no, I can't pay more than 500. Then they come back, well, we can only do this one for 550.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen when you go in with your check because you know exactly what the payment is and what
Yep.
you can afford. And like I said, it's a game changer. Imagine, I personally hate to go to a dealership and spend the whole day there.
Yeah.
So if you
Right.
have the money, you have this, you say, no, this is what I want. This is, show me pictures, send me
Yep.
pictures. Everybody nowadays is really busy. You
Yep.
go, you pick up your car, you give your check, and that's it.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
definitely a game changer. I personally advise everybody, if you can, to try to walk into a dealership and already have your
That's
bank,
right.
you already
Yeah.
have your check, because it's going to be completely different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jackie also mentioned something great too. When you have your stuff in place, you're not going to be at the dealership all day. People that have they have great credit scores, and they don't have. We're not even talking about just great credit. If you're in the 600s, you're not going to be in there all day. If you have your money saved, you've been on your job for a decent amount of time, you're not going to be in there all day. But again, the worse your situation is, they're waiting for a bank to say, "All right, all right, all right, I'll take them." That's what's happening. But if you want to have it where, hey, when my wife and I, when we went to go buy our cars, because I know the game, I set everything up prior to the time I even go. When I go, the car is pulled up. Typically for my wife, I got a bow on it. Okay. And so not bragging or boasting, but because it wasn't always like that in the past, but it's more so saying, hey, listen, I know what to ask, what to say, things of that sort. But at the end of the day, they want to know that they got a guaranteed deal. Okay. It's a guaranteed deal. Let's just move on. Y'all are here to sell a car. Good news is I'm here to buy one. So let's move forward. So, but either way, listen, Jackie, I greatly appreciate you stopping by the channel and dropping so many gems. My audience, they love to talk about credit unions and they most definitely love to talk about Navy Federal. Many of them have accounts with them. And we know, of course, it's been a lot of, it's been drama with a lot of banks and credit unions. No bank or credit union is perfect.
Yeah.
But if you're going to have your account there, you should at least know how to maximize what you already have access to. Sometimes people look for, well, which new bank should I go with, or should I do this? It's like, are you maximizing where you currently are? And a lot of people don't know that they really are doing that. Is there anything else you want to leave with the audience before we get out of here today?
Well, I mean, I guess for the audience, what I want to leave is, I always talk about this, which anytime that you're going to apply for credit, it doesn't matter if it's Navy Federal, Penn Fed, Bank of America, Chase, don't just apply with your eyes, covered. The first thing you need to do always, guys, and just because I've done the funding part, I
Yeah.
can tell you, check your credit first.
Yeah.
Okay. Check your credit, see where you're at, research the bank, see what they're looking for, where they're going to pull your credit from, and see if you're a candidate for them. And if they're a
Hmm.
candidate for you, is that
Yeah.
what you're looking for? And, are you going to be able to get approved for their product? Because if you have a 600 credit and you're
Hmm.
going for a Chase card, you got to know that you're not going to get approved. So
Mm.
I always tell that to everybody, check your credit. And that's going to prevent you from getting any hard inquiry or being disappointed because you didn't get
Yeah.
approved. Your
Huge.
expectations are high and you think you're going to get it and your friend got it. No. You got to
Hmm.
do your homework and do your due diligence and forget
Yeah.
about what you listen to in YouTube. Go out there and research for your own self.
That's right. 1,000%. Well, thanks again, Jackie. Again, guys, everyone that's watching this, make sure you guys go ahead and check out her channel. She talks about all of these banks, not just Navy Federal Credit Union, not just credit unions. And again, whatever you're looking to learn to better your financial future, you most definitely can find that information on Jackie's channel. All right. Thanks again, Jackie. We greatly appreciate you being here today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.